This marks the fourth part of this manhwa. If you haven't viewed the previous parts, you can access it by clicking the I button located above, or the link is provided in description. Let's aim for 200 likes on today's video. To show your support, consider subscribing to the channel. Let's begin our recap video for today's manhwa. In the Pyongyang region, a single bug reaper runs away from a bunch of spider insectors who are out for his flesh. Seeing as how he cannot run any longer, he aims his rifle at them and starts shooting like a maniac. He actually manages to kill one of them. As it seems, these are much weaker than other insectors. He smiles and then laughs out loud, as now he knows that these bugs are nothing. They should all come at him, as he will use his bug spray to send them into the ground. As he slowly retreats, he bumps into something. His old teammates, who are all cocooned up, Dwan and Park, who both seem to be unconscious or dead. The man falls to the ground with the remaining spider insectors ready to punch a hole through him. But he misses on purpose and then disappears completely. The bug reaper slowly gets up and wonders what happened, but can't believe that he is the only one left alive. For some reason, he smashes the ground as he thinks that he is undeserving of it. But that's when something appears out of the ground, and a large insector erupts out of the ground, throwing the man high into the air in order to make it fall down its gullet. Back at the base, Song continues to train his body at the gym, which has made him much buffer than before. But all he can think about now is his meeting with the doctor, or to be precise, with the insector that they have captured, X-Roll. The doctor told him that he does not wish to speak with anyone except him. That is, so he better get talking. Song grabs his attention and said that he better listen now, as he has some questions for him. That he once answered, where is their leader, and who made the blue pills that he had? X-Roll just laughs and asks if he received the gift he prepared for him, that pretty girlfriend of his. Song smashes the glass almost completely as he hears this and demands to know what he did to Cho-Ah. But X-Roll does not answer his question, as he is only a vocalization of his master's will, who has a message for him. He is nothing without his ant powers, so he should stop trying to save everyone fruitlessly, as this world has no more heroes. This ticks him off to no end. He must kill Chan no matter what. Suddenly, the alarms start to ring, and Yi-Jin rushes into the room, telling Song that the soldiers sent to Pyongyang have all gone missing. They need to check for themselves to see what happened. As Song tries to leave with sword in hand, the doctor stops him, as he has something important to talk with him about later. The group arrives in the region with a helicopter, with Song speaking with Seihi, who is below them, and assessing any possible dangers. He notices nothing at first, but when he approaches one side of the forest, he sees that it is all covered in thick web, and tells the others that they need to see this for themselves, as he can't explain. Song notes that they are already above it. What the hell happened in this place? They need a secure way inside of the forest, so Seihi prepares his arm and shoots most of the webbing away, clearing a path for them to go through. However, the webs start coming back as soon as they are removed, so Seihi wants to let out an even stronger attack. But that's when his feet and arm, caught by the webs, as the spider insectors have noticed his presence, and are doing what they do best, catching pesky flies. Zagana can't believe how pathetic he is to be caught by mindless bugs like that, so he jumps out of the helicopter, and cuts the spider insectors down as he falls, with his landing being quite gracious. He looks back at Seihi and asks what he would have done without him, which makes Seihi thank him. With this, the team all get ready to examine the area and find the missing bug reapers. But that's when Zagana finds some cocoons, with Song ordering them to free the people inside while Seihi look out for them. Zagana doesn't partake in this, as he already did enough, but one of the insectors he cut up is still alive and is now pummeling the ground with his fist, something that Zagana doesn't get. But the insector that is coming from below is felt by Song, who tells Zagana to get out of there as something large is coming. The large insector arrives in a chaotic fashion and tells them that they will not be spared for disrupting his hunting haven. He promises this much. The entire team releases 20% of their powers and gets ready to battle the scorpion insector. Yi-Jin is the first to move as she ties the scorpion insector up, allowing Zagana to charge in with a mighty attack that hits the insector fully. After he is done, he lets Seihi have a turn, who uses a rail gun attack that completely engulfs the insector, making the team think that it's over, but out of the dust comes his tail. But he is not done, as he almost catches Seihi with his large claw. But fortunately, Song is there to save the day as he deflects the claw and allows the team to regroup. Zagana wonders what this guy's deal is while Eugene notes that their attacks are doing nothing to this large bastard. The scorpion insector laughs. They really are fools. Their weak attacks will have no effect on someone as mighty as him, the giant Death Stalker scorpion. He has been chosen by the king because of his very toned body and impeccable abs. Seihi is quite puzzled as he thought. That insector were just that, insects, but this guy is a straight-up animal, right? Zagana explains that this has happened before and the insector title is just something slapped on everyone because insect shapes are the most common. Song concurs as he also met a few insector that didn't really meet the label himself, but with the current version of Chan he might be able to create even stronger insector, some that shouldn't have ever existed. The Death Stalker scorpion denies this notion as there is nobody stronger than he is. Zagana and Eugene try to get him from behind while he is focused on the other two, but the scorpion strikes them with his poisonous tail, which makes them both fall to the ground. Slowly but surely, they both start feeling the effects of the poison, with Zagana wondering if he could defeat this bastard if he could go in his true form. But he doesn't have much time to think as the poison overtakes his system. The scorpion notes that besides being poisonous, his venom is also very addictive, so he will serve them up with some more. He is stopped by Seihi, who tries his best to penetrate the scorpion's thick shell, but he doesn't even make a dent and allows the scorpion to try and punch him out of the way. That's when his arm is stopped by Eugene and Zagana, who, despite their intoxication, can still pull him enough to let Song try and pierce the scorpion's chest with all of the force he can muster. But it's fruitless as his blade breaks in two upon contact. The scorpion has had enough of them, so he throws Seihi into him, making both of them fall on the ground. Song is now the only one left capable of fighting as Seihi is knocked out cold, and both Eugene and Zagana are poisoned. He can only think of his ant powers as if he had them he could have easily taken care of this bastard. But that's when something catches his eye, the gift he received from the doctor. The scorpion looms over Eugene and Zagana, noting that their pathetic attempt at rebellion is amusing, but they will be a sacrifice for him to rise the ranks, as the king will surely reward him for taking care of traitors. That's when Song rushes in with great speed and completely dismembers the scorpion's left arm, who is quite shocked. It seems that the gift given by the doctor is 2 insector blades that Song can use to be on equal footing with the insector. Song was quite shocked when he received the blades and asked where he got them from. The doctor simply tells him that they were torn from X-Roll, as he certainly does not need them anymore. Song tried to refuse them, but the doctor told him to reconsider, as he does not have any more insector powers. All that he has is more potential for physical strength compared to average people, so is he just going to rely on only this and try to fight the insector that can outmatch him in a second? He should at least take them with him if he reconsiders. Only then will he feel how unique they really are. He charges the scorpion once again, his eyes filled with vengeance and focus. The second arm of the scorpion falls to the ground after it is hit, leaving only his tail, which he tries to pierce Song with. But he redirects himself directly towards it, and cuts it in 1,000 pieces before going for the scorpion's chest and piercing it with his blades. Now he can fight like a true insector. Now he can show what malice he has been manifesting all of this time. Song strikes his chest once again and says that no matter how much they evolve, they will always be on top. So, he will spill everything now. Where is their leader hiding? The scorpion laughs, as even if he climbs to the top of the mountain, he can never reach the peak, as nobody can reach their master. A power that rivals his simply does not exist. That's when an insector of humongous proportions appears below them, and Song seems to have no way out of this. But in the last second, Seihi rescues him from the insector jaws. But Song is more concerned about the others and asks where they are. Seihi tells him not to worry, as he already moved them both to a safe location. When they look back, they both see the crater that the insector left behind, one that could level an entire fortress in seconds. Back at the facility, they all receive treatment for their injuries. But after they are done, Zagana notes that he detests Song's new weapons as it just feels wrong, and it also feels like they are all being underestimated. Eugene tells him to hush as it's because of Song that they get to breathe another day. But Zagana doesn't think that's fair, as if he wasn't treated like a damn tool, he could have cut up that scorpion guy in less than a second. The Bug Reapers say that they want to take revenge for them and get rid of all other bad insector, but it feels more like they are just controllers. Damn them and their stupid rules. Say he notes that they are dangerous beings. 2. It's just a part of themselves that they have to accept. Zigana goes to him and asks if he's acting like this because he feels it's only natural for them to be controlled, which Say he denies. But Zigana feels like because he is working with humans, he must be feeling human too, right? He should not forget, however, what he did before coming here. Honestly, it was quite admirable when he heard about it. A single insector took out 2 marine battalions and even a bus full of innocent school children. He had quite the kill streak yesterday. Jean tells him to shut it, but Zigana says that he is not wrong, and if he thinks about it now, it's because of this fucker and Song that they are being used. Suddenly, someone comes in the room and says that their little bugs really are tenacious as they have recovered quite fast. How admirable this is. The Dark Reaper team head, the former division's chief, Zigana tells him not to act like the team leader now when he's never been with them. Tells him not to get so cocky as he seems to be forgetting who is in charge of the team. But since they haven't seen each other in a while, they should go to the training center and see how they square up. Eugene notes that he's not scary at all, and Zigana tells him to drop the tough act, which he does, but he wonders why they are teasing him so much if they don't even know why he's here. He does not agree with the limit on their transformation either, and he knows that they don't like it either, so he is on his way to request some increase on their transformation limit as the representative. Isn't he cool? Doesn't he deserve some praise? Zigana notes that if he doesn't like it, he should remove this restraint for good, but tells him to chill as his greed will not help. They need to do this low and slow since there's a meeting coming up soon. Their team leader needs to attend too. So, where is he? Song is back in the lab, staring at Cho-ah, who is peacefully sleeping after a meal. That spark in his eyes returns as he gazes upon her, but it doesn't last long as the doctor comes and notes that she ate an entire pig by herself, truly a mesmerizing creature. But he knows that he didn't come all of this way just to stare at her, so he should spill it already. Song asks if he's going to mess with her too, but he denies this as he isn't that interested in her. But why does he have the weapons? Is he here to settle a score? Song denies this and says that it's the opposite. He needs power in order to face Chan, who has now risen to kingly status. He must have every bit of power that he can have. In a deep, dark cave, a lowly small insector looks around as the pillars near it are filled with people. Seeing this, it screams out their name, the Hexagon Group. Its head is cut off after this, with the person that did the cutting noting that this was supposed to be a hexagon meeting. So what is a fraud like her doing here? Seijin, the 6th leg of the hexagon, does not answer. The 4th leg, Jo Kong, tells her that the position she is holding now is for those who deserve it and are powerful, not for pretty little butterflies like her, so she should get down while he is being nice. Suddenly, a flying punch deflects his blade, which was sent by the 5th leg, Songta. He notes that her position was their king's choice, so he will accept it and move on. Jo says that he must have forgotten his place, but Songta tells him not to get cocky as he is ready to take him out at any given moment. The 3rd leg, Jiang Jian, doesn't really care about their squabble as he is enjoying some nice and refreshing brain juice. But he notes that he would be the victor if they were to fight, no matter his opponent. His hands suddenly get blown off, which makes him sad. By the 2nd leg, Spiral Ho, who urges him to have a go as he is ready to fight him at any time. Jiang Jian notes that even as a joke, he might not let this injury go. But Spiral Ho throws another attack at him, and says that he shouldn't mess with the bull as he will get the horns. Out of nowhere, young Jian begins talking about the bastard who killed Bubble, the Hexagon founder. He fought with him previously in the underground fighting ring. He was a real fighter. They went toe-to-toe for quite a long time, but even if he killed Bubble, he could easily win against him now. After hearing this, Spiral Ho kicks him in the gut and asks how many times he has to tell him this, that the Hexagon title is not something to be trifled with. Even if he acts high and mighty, he is just arrogant at the facts. Their group and that title are not to be messed with, as it is, in essence, a weapon that challenges the entire essence of power. So, underestimating hexagons is like underestimating Kojima himself. Even if they fight Red again, he will be the one to kill him. He will show him just where his arrogance will lead him. He dared to touch a hexagon, and those who do that will only suffer cruel fates. Songta and Jo continue to fight, with them proving to be equals in power, but as they charge into each other, another hexagon member screams out, which makes both of them back away, and the others cover their ears as it can be heard throughout the entire cave. The man swiftly shuts himself up and apologizes. This is the first leg, negotiate. Seeing as how there's a lot of rubble around, Spiral Ho asks Zhang Jian to clean up for him. Zhang Jian tries to excuse himself as he has no hands, but they have suddenly grown back, and everyone's injuries have also seemingly been healed. The little insector comes around once again and tells everyone to get ready. Seijin asks Zhou how it felt to be in her trance, as it seemed like nobody even knew. Spiral Ho laughs as he hears this, as he didn't expect for her to do this to everyone. The others are also amazed, and some are embarrassed, but they don't have time to bicker anymore as their king has arrived. He says that he heard everything, and he is really starting to doubt their abilities here. Besides this squabble, their population thinks that they are at war with the humans, meaning that they see humans as equals, which is quite amusing. They should all remember that they are the hunters and humans are the prey, so calling this a war gives them too much credit. Since rumors won't stop if they won't do something, they are all allowed to go and hunt as much as they can, crush any human settlement they can, and show them who is in charge. At the Bug Reaper facility, every surviving branch member meets up for the meeting, including Song, who is there because this is about his team. Tae stands in front of them and says that it's about time to start the briefing, with Tae handing him a folder that is about the Dark Reaper limit upgrade. The Dark Reapers is a project created to counter the hexagon group or celestial insects, as they like to call themselves. The team is composed of Song, who is the leader, and besides him, all other members are insector. These three individuals. They are looking at our combatants working under this team, but these three have a dark history of causing havoc among humans. First, he would like to talk about Eugene. Even though she is an insector, she fought well on both occasions when they were attacked, and so she got scouted as a Bug Reaper. She was one of the ones who they didn't plan to put a limit on, but as soon as the Dark Reaper team was launched, she confessed her past crimes of human trafficking. That is why now she has been only training her body. Additionally, she also has more social skills than Song. Now they will move on to the reason why the limit break might be a bad idea. Zagana, who probably doesn't need any introduction here as he's a born and bred villain. In the past, he was running an underground fight club, helped produce the insector pills, and killed a bunch of humans too. Thanks to this, he clashed with the Bug Reapers before, but the reason he joined the Dark Reapers in the first place is because after being imprisoned by them, he promised to have his revenge on the traitorous scum that left him behind. Once this is complete, he will once again be against the Bug Reapers as he is doing some paperwork. Zagana's ear itches, almost as if someone is talking about him right now. Tells Song that since joining the team, that bastard has been pretty obedient without causing a whole lot of issues. But this bothers him as reducing the limitation might be just what he wanted. He also asks Song why he even let some bastard like that join as he doesn't seem that friendly. But Song notes that they needed power, making Nun say that he would have rather had the champion that defeated Bubble a long while ago. When Song asked Red to come join the Dark Reapers, he refused, but Song insisted as without him they are nothing. Red said that he already knows that he is a fighter, and he cannot deal a good knockout punch like this one if he's carrying the burden of life in these fists. Fight against tough opponents, win, and crush them. That is all he wants to do. He should not worry, however, as he should also train and become better because he will also never give up on fighting. With that, he waved him goodbye and promised to meet again someday. Tae moves on to Seihi, who in just 2 days killed 256 people and soldiers. He was considered a menace. Fortunately, he was captured by the branch leader and transferred to the medical branch of a prison. But while in that prison, war broke out. Eventually, he managed to escape through a broken door as dozens of patients were being escorted to the shelter. He appeared, but other insectors also appeared. So, the now conscious Seihi decided to shoot the other side and rescue the injured people. Naturally, this did not pay for all of his sins, so he stayed in prison. But Song recruited him in the team, and he was able to be reunited with his family, something that his victims could never do again. Anyway, the point of this meeting is to expand the limit, so they should vote now. One of them, the head of science and technology, Mid, refuses as they get plenty of power as is. One cannot walk a dog when they don't know if they can bite or not without a muzzle. Perhaps he chose the wrong metaphor because he's talking about loyal dogs. The sergeant of the security team, Yan, says that dogs actually listen. These guys are just bugs, so why should they believe in them? Can't believe that she's going on about this too. He agrees that there needs to be some constraints, but this limit is far too much. They can barely flex their muscles before that limit goes off. In their last fight, for example, everyone unleashed as much as they could, but they still lost. Captain Joe of the strategy team says that it's true that one needs power in order to be a bug reaper, but he lost 2 battalion leaders and barely made it out alive 2 years ago. So, even if their powers are useful, the insector's cruel past should not be ignored. Sam says that he is also not going to trust them, making Song say that they are all scared that they will be betrayed and killed by the Dark Reapers. But wouldn't that be better at this point? At least they do something and clear out bugs while they just sit around in this facility and do jack. Who are they to issue orders like this? A silence falls after Song says this, but Pyo smiles and says that this should be enough with this meeting. They will consider possible improvements. Say he leaves his home as he was called for a meeting, so he spreads his wings and flies away while his parents watch as he glides around free in the wind. He notices that he has forgotten his hat, so he rushes back home to get it, but that's when he notices his parents outside, and then they take away a piece of foliage in the wall to reveal a large hole that they start to crawl through. Song goes back home and sighs as he enters, but that's when he meets with Eugene, who has just showered and notes that his face tells her everything she needs to know about the meeting. Song asks why she keeps showering at his place, which she excuses by saying that her water pressure is very weak. But anyway, she was right, the officers really despise them. Song notes that everyone was being stubborn, so he spoke out, but he doesn't know if he did good or bad. Eugene pinches his cheeks and says that he did great. She doesn't really know what he said, but she is sure that he gave the officers a lot to think about. So, as long as he puts in this much effort, she will do the same. Even if she only has 20% of her powers, they can still win, so he shouldn't worry about a thing. A small glimmer appears in Song's eyes as he smiles, and he also asks about the others. Eugene explains that Sagana is just sleeping in his room, but say he hasn't come yet, so he is most likely sleeping with his parents for the night. He keeps crawling to the hole his parents crawled through and wonders why it's here and why his parents went through it. He should have stopped them right there and then, but he was too flustered as he is still awkward with his parents. Perhaps they left because of him. Both of his parents were professional doctors at a renowned animal hospital, so he worked hard and tried to please them. But in the end, he became an awful murderer. His parents eventually came to know about this fact and that he was also alive, but not right after the incident. After 1 year of war with the insector, after he became a Dark Reaper, his parents thought that he was a victim of the marine insector incident. But now they were simply grateful that he was alive. However, he knows that he is no longer human. He is a killer with more victims in his repertoire than most of the prison he was in. He doesn't care if they start hating him, however, as he must find them and ensure that they are safe as it's extremely dangerous out here. That's when he finds their footsteps and rushes after them as they have gone into the forest, which is filled with insector. Due to his speed, he easily makes it to them, but notices a woman beside them, someone with a mysterious aura. So, he changes course to a nearby tree and wonders who she might be. That's when he hears a pitched scream. That is coming from the woman, as she is pretty injured. So Seihi's parents start taking care of her, which they manage to do in a matter of seconds, making the woman feel a lot better. Seihi can only laugh as he looks at this, as his parents are really treating injured people outside of the shelter. He starts crying as he looks at them, as he thought that he didn't belong with them anymore, but he is very glad to be wrong. That's when a large thud can be heard, and his father starts screaming out as there is an insector right in front of them, a bison beetle who is very glad to find humans' way out here as he tries to say something else. Seihi appears and kicks him in the face, letting the woman see the Bug Reaper logo on his clothes. The insector is very mad that a damn firefly interrupted his meal, so he rushes in with a punch, but Seihi is faster and pins him to the ground with ease. He shoves his gun in the insector's mouth and says that whoever messes with his family better watch out, as he will take them down even if he dies. With that, he eliminates the insector, so he thinks that his family is all right. But another insector of the same race comes around and grabs his father in a surprise attack. Seihi tries to aim at him, but the insector uses his father as a shield as it tastes a bit of him. The father tells everyone to run away as fast as they can, with Seihi being extremely desperate to rescue him. As the insector goes to have a bite of the father's succulent head, the family's desperation reaches a breaking point. But that's when the insector is impaled by a bunch of mandibles, which kills the insector instantly. Seihi looks to see who did it, and sure enough, the woman he thought was strange is actually an insector, and a curious one at that. Seihi instantly points his gun at her and tells her to back off, but his father gets in front of him and says that it's all right, this girl is not a bad insector. She slowly transforms back into her human form and says that her name is Aijin, but she hopes that this is not how he usually picks up girls. Seihi asks his parents how they know her, so they start explaining. Before meeting him, they both started to wander towards the shelter throughout the destroyed world, and they have also been treating people along the way. One such person is Aijin, who was most likely from dehydration and a bit of starvation. As they tried to help her, a large insector appeared behind them, but he was swiftly dealt with by Aijin, who used the last of her energy to rescue them. After treating her, they traveled together. It was thanks to her that they got to the shelter safely, but after parting with her near the shelter, they did a background check and found out about him. That's how they were able to meet him so early. His mother assures him that she is a good person, but he doesn't care about that. Good or evil, these things don't apply to Insector. That's when he feels the irony of him saying like that, as he shares the same species and crimes as any other Insector. His parents apologize for going out without telling him, but he only cares to find out if they were the ones that broke through the barrier. They both say that they couldn't possibly go through a wall that's so thick, they just stumbled on this hole by pure chance, and since they were worried for Aijin, they thought it would be nice to visit her. Seihi is worried sick now, as if that's true, the shelter has been breached or there is a mole inside that is using this for nefarious reasons. His final question is how they got in touch with her in the first place, as this place is quite vast. His father shows him a walkie-talkie of sorts that can receive signals from other pieces of technology similar to this one. Seihi immediately confiscates it, and says that they will go back now, but his parents tell him to wait a moment. In that time they hand Aijin a bunch of things, a change of clothes, food, and a myriad of other things. As they leave and Seihi's parents look behind, Aijin bows to them. At the training center, the Dark Reaper team does some mock battles with Seihi and Yi Jin being opponents. They both seem to be on equal footing, but Yi Jin gains the upper hand and kicks Seihi to the ground, who thinks that he overdid it yesterday, since he feels so weak. She asks if he's okay, which he confirms. She's the one that has been improving so much that he can't keep up with it. She is very happy about this information, but on the other side, Song and Zagana are having a vicious battle with their blades clashing constantly. As Song tries to cut him up, Zagana jumps behind him and aims his blades at his neck. Noting that his skills are truly lacking, he will have to step things up, as he can no longer rely on those black ants of his for strength. Song pushes him away, but Zagana notes that they should call it a day, as he might accidentally kill him if they keep going. Song refuses and tells him to keep fighting, but that's when his daggers start to emit a strange miasma that he feels is extremely dangerous, so he drops them, something that makes Zagana laugh, as he can't believe that he lost his grip. Song doesn't know why, but that feeling is similar. That's when a large rumble can be heard outside, and Song's insector sense tingles, letting him know that there's an insector nearby, which is coming straight for the shelter. He feels 3 insector now, so he tells the others to get ready for battle, as they are being attacked. Zhang Jian charges up a mighty attack with some water and unleashes all of it into the wall, which breaks it with ease. He is very glad about this shot, which makes him think that this will be much easier than he anticipated. A bug reaper notices 6 insector signals approaching at a rapid rate and tells Yan, the team's security leader, who tells him to enhance the camera feed. Once the bug reaper does so, they notice 3 people standing on some large flying insector, so just to be sure, Yan tells him to take aim with the cannons, as she won't allow anything to happen. That's when Zhang Jian prepared a large attack and unleashed it on their defenseless wall. The bug reaper tells Yan that the insector have broken the wall, so she tells him to initiate a code red and prepare all of the troops for battle. She also tells him to fire as much as he can from the cannon. They must not allow the insector to step even a foot inside. The bug reaper does just that, but one of the insector uses an ability to block all of the shots that are coming towards them, but also charges in at the same time and destroys the cannons with ease. As he does that, a metal straw falls out of the sky, and Zhang Jian notes that he will be the one to conquer this bug reaper nest and claim it under Mr. Zhang's name, and hopes that it will make him proud. The woman next to him scoffs, as they are all here, so how can claim that title when a literal princess is right here? This is Seijin, subordinate princess, who notes that she will just blow a few rooms and houses and then leave, as she doesn't want to waste her precious time here. Zhang Jian notes that she will do that later since she lost the straw pulling contest, which she doesn't like. However, Gozian, Spiral Hole loyal follower, says that she should stop throwing a tantrum and go already, since he can easily handle what will come for him here. The princess starts to blush for some reason, but Gozian ignores it and walks forward, where he is met, or rather crushed, by a gigantic robotic leg, as a mecha has just arrived on the scene with Min, the head of research and development, piloting it. He calls this beautiful machine the insector killer. From what Zhang Jian knows, Zhang fought with a similar piece of scrap in the war and gave him a lot of trouble too. Seeing the one she loves being crushed in front of her, she charges in, but she is met with a giant punch to the face by none other than Zhou, who notes that bugs like them have a sense of love. They just breed like animals. Suddenly, Min's robot is pushed back by the very alive Gozian, who is also transformed and is ready to rumble. Zhou is ready to box him out of the ring, but that's when a foul stench permeates throughout the area, with him asking who did not shower today. The now transformed princess says that she will not forgive those who cannot differentiate from a sublime fragrance and stench. Zhang Jian looks at their fight and notes that it seems pretty dangerous. He wants to fight too, but he wants an opponent just for him, as teaming up just doesn't seem fair. That's when Un comes from behind and notes that he would like to fight him, which Zhang Jian is very happy about, but Un doesn't even give him the time to get up as he uses his bug ability to send him flying. Un uses his ability to grow and transform his appendages into insector ones, an ability that allows him to be on par with any insector. This marks the conclusion of the 4th part of this manhwa. The 5th part will be uploaded soon. To show your support for the channel and help speed up the release of recaps for your favorite manhwa, please consider giving a super thanks. Looking forward to seeing you in the next video.